With Pokemon Champions around the corner, it's time to reflect on Generation 9 and everything it brought to Pokemon Draft League. Between the Terra mechanic and all the powerful new Paradox Pokemon, many of which you got to see feature on this channel again and again if it's Screamtail, there was so much to enjoy with Scarlet and Violet Draft League. To celebrate the end of the generation, friends of the channel OG Albina and Kirby have put together a tournament featuring many of Draft League's most popular creators, a one last ride for one of the most popular metagames Draft League has ever seen. My goal for this tournament above all else is to win, but to also showcase a team that defined Draft League as we know it in Scarlet and Violet. If you're excited for today's video, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We are still working towards our goal of 1,000 subscribers, and every subscription helps a ton towards hitting that goal. This Draft League is going to be slightly different to what you're used to seeing on Wi-Fi, with the rule set more in line with the competitive tournament scene. We have 90 points to draft 8 Pokemon rather than the 110 to draft 9 to 11. This puts a premium on drafting Pokemon that can perform in multiple roles, as you oftentimes won't have the slots in your team to fill every role with more one-dimensional Pokemon. We are also only drafting with 8 players, allowing more of an opportunity to get some of the most powerful Pokemon in the format. Generally, this is how Pokemon is played at the highest level, so many of the teams you'll see in this tournament are well explored and thought out at this point, having been iterated over in many different tournaments. I wanted to draft the team that showcased one of the most popular team cores that we've seen in Generation 9, and one of the best Pokemon in the generation fell to me at pick 5. It became a no-brainer on the team I was going to draft. And that Pokemon is Great Tusk, a Pokemon that has defined Scarlet and Violet Draft League since day one. Especially in 8 Pokemon draft, this Pokemon's value is unmatched, able to function in every role possible. Need a defensive check, 115 HP and 131 defense allow it to wall almost every physical attacker in the game. Need an offensive threat, 131 attack and the ability to run booster energy to boost attacker speed, as well as bulk up to set up for the endgame, makes it an extremely difficult win condition to deal with. It can even remove entry hazards, something that I haven't had on my teams very often in this generation. This Pokemon is also a very popular Terra captain, but we will be going a different direction on this specific team. These defensive leaning ground types with the ability to be offensive at the right time are oftentimes the focal points of these formats, as we have seen with Landorus Therian in the past. It is no surprise that it has to have been one of the most important Pokemon in the format, and no surprise that we take it here in round number 1. Prioritizing high-end speed, we take Roaring Moon with our next pick. Pokemon like Darkrai and Greninja are often common in this round for teams with Great Tusk, but unfortunately, both were gone before it got back to my pick. Roaring Moon is still an amazing Pokemon to pair with Great Tusk, however, and in DPL Season 9, the highest level of Draft League competition was the best performing second round pick with Great Tusk. While this Pokemon is more well known for its chokehold on the OU metagame at times, in Draft League it has started to see a resurgence in popularity over the last year. Its 139 attack, along with being able to use booster energy and Dragon Dance to push it even further, make it one of the most difficult Pokemon in the tier to switch into. While it does lack on the speed side a tiny bit in comparison to some of the other speed options, it certainly makes that up in raw power and the ability to quickly win games out of nowhere. When I did my video on the recent trends of Scarlet and Violet Draft League, Jirachi had been a big riser in the metagame, the 12th most drafted Pokemon. I needed a Steel type for this team, and Jirachi was the perfect option. Jirachi has access to everything you need from a utility perspective. Healing Wish, Stealth Rock, Encore, the list goes on and on. While this will be its primary role in the team, we can't discount its offensive output either. Serene Grace plus Iron Head have made this Pokemon one of the most frustrating choice scarfers to play against in generations past. We can't forget either the ability to set up with Calm Mind, giving Jirachi plenty of opportunities to function outside of its common defensive roles, even if Healing Wishing up our big 3 threats is going to be super powerful in most of our battles. Enamorous Incarnate joins the team in round 4 as our Terra captain, a common appearance on these Great Tusk teams. Many Great Tusk teams have to make a difficult decision when it comes to Terra, with Great Tusk being such a good Pokemon with and without Terra. As we got later into the draft, this was the only Pokemon I was considering using Terra on outside of the Great Tusk, so as it falls to me in round 4, I make the selection. The benefits of Enamorous Incarnate as an offensive Terra captain are obvious, with Terra Fairy sets able to dominate almost every matchup, especially with a Pokemon as good as Great Tusk on the team to punish Steel types. Despite its hefty price tag, this Pokemon is not without its flaws. 106 speed makes it tough to position without Choice Scarf, and many of the common speed threats in this format are able to check it with great effect. That being said, many of the teams we will play in this tournament will just not be able to guard against the many U-turn sequences we have into this Pokemon, giving it the platform to be worth every point. Now, while this top 4 is an amazing collection of Pokemon, I quickly ran into an issue. I have almost no points left. I spent hours upon hours coming up with ideas on how to spend the rest of my points, making sure I wasn't leaving myself exposed to the wide variety of top tier threats in the metagame. Nothing seemed to be working until old reliable Manaphy found its way back onto the roster. While gone are the days of using Tailglow to sweep through teams with everything in Scarlet and Violet seemingly having infinite speed, the base 100 stat line is enough to make this Pokemon a solid water pivot, using moves like Scald and Knockoff to gain incidental advantage over time on teams' defensive cores, while always threatening that Tailglow sweep. Electros has been a great glue Pokemon over the years, and joins our team as a more reliable ground immunity in round 6. One of the key aspects of this team is going to be leveraging slow momentum to get Pokemon like Enamorus and Roaring Moon onto the field for free to deal big damage, and Electros is a perfect Pokemon to play that role. It also has a very deep bag of utility moves that are hard to switch into, with the ever-present Knockoff and Discharge helping paralyze Pokemon on our opponent's team to give our slower Enamorus an easier time at impacting the game. With only 4 points left, options are limited for finding Pokemon that can actually find value in matchups. Swalot has seen a rise in usage recently, and for good reason. It can force prep decisions from some of the top tier threats in Scarlet and Violet, while also providing a poison type, deterring many teams from wanting to set up toxic spikes. It can even set up toxic spikes itself, giving us an option for hazard stacking if we want to run the Terra Ghost Enamorus. Spidups joins the team as our final pick, providing some niche value in key matchups, especially when our opponent doesn't have good hazard removal. This team really appreciates Sticky Web, making our Enamorus and Manaphy just that much more powerful. It also gives us a Spiker, which in combination with Terragos and Enamorus allows us to have a spike stack angle against some of the most defensive teams in the tournament. Don't expect to see it often, but in the right matchup, it can definitely flip the game massively in our favor. That concludes our team for one last ride as we look to put the finishing touches on the generation with the team composition seen many times before in Scarlet and Violet Draft League. Great Tusk has been this format's defining Pokemon, and it's time for my defining moment in Scarlet and Violet Draft League. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single upload of the One Last Ride Draft League tournament. We also have a Discord server, which you can join at the link in the description to stay up to date with everything going on with the channel and the draft leagues that I'm playing in. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite pick of our draft is and what you might have done differently. Next week, we start our run to the championship with a big battle against Grandmaster D-Ray. You won't want to miss it.